You may not be a philosopher. You may have never taken a philosophy class. You might not even know what philosophy is, but you want to do philosophy. Why is that? Let's consider.
I can't get it off my mind.
Hello, philosophers. My name is Chico. Welcome to the Philosopher Show, where we explore the greatest questions of human history. How can I say that you want to do philosophy when you may have never even heard of it? I think so because we all seem to have in our lives, peppered throughout our lives, a few moments of what I've heard of called existential shock. What is that? Those are these moments that really like just wake you up from what you're doing in your everyday, right? We have routines that we go through. We don't really think much about our lives, and then a death in the family, your birth of your first child, right? You lose a job, something big happens, right? And you're shocked out of your reality, and you're left thinking about these things like, for example, death in the family. You may wonder, will I be happy when I get to the end of my life, right? When when I am in this coffin, what will I want people to think? What happens after you die? I know for me personally, when my first child was born, it was a gnarly experience. I remember seeing that boy. I mean, and I'd already felt him in the tummy and all those fun things, the little kicks and the punches. And then all of a sudden, when I saw him for the first time move, it was bizarre, right? I remember thinking it was so weird. And I remember it just like crashing down on me. I've got to, raise this boy, tell him like, what is the best life to live, like help him to achieve that. And then I thought, what is the best life to live? Like, what is happiness, and how do we achieve it, right? When if you lose a job, right? You may have been doing something for your whole life, and then you retire, or something happens where you can't do that anymore, and you're left thinking, if I'm not a pilot, what am I? Or whatever it is that you are, right? So we have these moments of existential shock, break us out of our reality, and we start to ask these questions, and we think, why haven't I asked this question before, right? Why haven't I thought about this stuff? It's sort of like I've just been going through things, right? Now I'm wondering, and I'm gonna live my life, and I'm gonna be more intentional. I'm gonna wonder these things. The problem is, just as quickly as they show up, they're gone, right? That'll happen. You'll be thinking about it for a few days, maybe a week. I don't know, something like that. And then it seems like you just get back into your routines, right? Like it's easy to get back in the old habits. I like to think of it like working out, right? If the first time you're trying to get in shape, or maybe get back into shape, the first few days are easy. You're motivated, right? There's some reason that you want to get back, and that motivation is driving you. And then after the first few days, you're sore, right? Like you haven't been using those muscles for a long time, and you just don't have that motivation. The motivation doesn't carry you through to getting back to fit, right? Like you have to dedicate yourself, right? And then once you eventually get back into shape, it's easy, right? You make it a habit, and then all of a sudden, it's hard not to do. You feel good, right? You feel healthy. I think philosophy is a lot like that. I recently wrote a blog on this. Check out thephilosopher.com on tips on how to get into this sort of philosophical shape. We need sustained reflective thought, right? We need disciplined reflective thought. But what do we call that? Disciplined reflective thought about our world? Well, that's just what philosophy is, right? Philosophy is stepping back from your everyday and thinking about, what is this world? What do I think about it? What do I think about this life, right? Where do I want it to go? All those things. That is what we could call your philosophy. So I think you want to do philosophy because I think those are questions that are just interesting to everybody, that everybody wants to know, or at least think about, consider. I think the best philosophy is done in dialogue, so please feel free to comment on anything you think about today. also, I have a few extra questions that I think that we can discuss. Has your experience with philosophy matched up with what I've said? Right? Do you maybe you know some philosophers? Do the philosophers seem like those kinds of guys, like or girls, like doing the things that the reflective life that like I'm suggesting? What is your understanding of philosophy? And I don't mean like go look it up and define philosophy, Merriam-Webster's, right? I mean, top of the dome, what do you think philosophy is? And finally, what do you want to talk about? Great thing about this show and a philosophy, it is a massive subject. There's lots of interesting stuff. I'd love to explore some stuff with you guys that you'd like to know about. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and tag a friend to join the conversation. Until next time, adios.